Welcome to our spotlight on the Salem Memorial District Hospital. Got Stan Stevens and Kathy Haines with us, right?
That is correct.
Well, Kathy, welcome to our interview. This is your first time here on KSMO Radio. We thank you for joining us. And this is a very important time of year because we have a lot of people coming in town. We've got a lot of holidays coming up, like Thanksgiving's right here. Got Christmas coming up. A lot of people in and out of town. It's also a big time for people to make sure they're immunized, isn't it?
Absolutely. This time of year, when families get together, it is a time when people pass around illnesses. So
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally,
No.
but we want to encourage washing your hands.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. And then, yes, getting flu vaccinations, very important.
You know, one of the things, and getting your flu vaccine, and they have different vaccines nowadays. Used to be the old days, everything was made kind of out of egg whites and stuff of that nature, right? That's how they tested the culture.
Yep.
They don't have to do that anymore. So there's different types of shots available, correct?
There is. There's two main vaccines.
Okay.
The main one is, a standard vaccination for everyone 6 months and older. Once you hit 65 and older, there is a higher dose vaccination that you
Okay.
can get. And usually your physician is who you would want to consult with on that.
Okay, and that's
Higher
because
strain.
The lack of immune system are harder for them to deal with the flu?
It's more for the elderly in the event that they have an immunity issue, and it's just a better strain.
It's being more compromised,
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
very
the word.
good.
That's the word I was looking for.
Sometimes that word just isn't there, You got to find it. Now, what about for youngsters under 6 months? Is there a vaccination for them at this time?
No.
Okay.
I believe the Centers for Disease only recommends 6 months and older.
Okay.
And again, that would be a conversation with the physician
Okay.
that's of that child.
Okay, very good. So let's talk a little bit about the flu vaccine. Now, they make this vaccine up way ahead of time, obviously, to have enough ready to go. And it's kind of a guessing game, isn't it?
It is. It's a projection.
They feel that they know what strands are going to be there. Or strains, I guess I should say. Strands, but just you look at the little things that they show you, and I kind of call that strands. But the strains that are coming, how do you really know which ones are going to be? And one thing about the flu, I think all of us know, is that mutates, doesn't it?
It does. Yes, the government, they do try to project the strains that are going to be coming out for that year. It's a hit and miss. I believe this year's vaccination, they have incorporated 4 strains that they are projecting that will hit us. At this time, though, Dent County's been very fortunate. We've not had one diagnosed influenza
Well, that's
so
good.
far.
Very good.
So I do report that weekly to the state as well as to the health department
Local
here.
health.
So far we're doing good. But again, to get your flu vaccination, it may not keep you from getting the flu, but once you're vaccinated, it will make the symptoms less. Where you can get through the season.
Well, the severity of the flu is really, is what gets people, either extraordinarily ill or it can kill you because
Absolutely. People
it
do
can
die.
it can be devistating when the flu
Absolutely.
takes over your body and ravages you, and if your compromised immune system can't handle it, you could be in serious trouble. By getting the influenza shot, it does bolster that, and as you mentioned, once you get those, I'll say, for not better lack of terms, toxins in you. It doesn't hit you as hard.
Absolutely.
It still hits you, but it doesn't
could
hit you as hard.
But it makes the symptoms less.
Mm-hmm.
Many people think that when they get the vaccine, it's going to give them the flu. It really doesn't do that. The flu vaccine that we receive now is not a live virus. So when people think that the flu vaccine has made them ill or given them the flu, most likely they had a little bit of a virus prior to the injection, but the injection does not make them ill. It does take about 2 weeks following the injection to be effective.
Okay.
So there is about a 2-week waiting period for the immune system to kick in. So this is a really good time right now to be getting those
Right.
injections.
You don't want to wait much longer with Christmas holiday coming up.
Absolutely.
Let's explain a little bit why sometimes last year we know we had a rampant flu system, and not only Salem Hospital, but all hospitals in the state of Missouri and around the area had a rampant flu system. Thing is, when people this time of year, holidays, you start to see family and friends, and obviously, if you're within close proximity and you have the flu, the chances of that being spread is enormous.
It is. It's very contagious.
Whether you're in the grocery store, church, shaking hands with a friend, going to a high school basketball game or something of that nature, just by touching a surface, you may be coming down with the flu. And people really need to be aware of that, don't they?
Absolutely. Every door handle, every grocery cart handle, the phones, desks, counters, all those things are prime sources. If you touch those and then you don't practice good hand washing, anytime you touch your face, your nose, your eyes, your mouth, those are sources for infection.
Typically, the flu lasts about how long, just on average?
About a week, usually.
Comes with a fever?
Can come with a fever, body aches, headaches.
Sometimes a pretty aggressive cough, sometimes?
Sometimes. Those are all prime symptoms of the flu.
A lot of times people think nausea is a telltale sign of the flu, but a lot of times flu has nothing to do with the nausea, right?
Absolutely. Nausea most likely is not a part of the flu. It is usually your temperature, your body aches, maybe a cough, those types of things.
When people have, let's say they have a fever, a lot of people don't really know how to handle a fever because fever is dangerous. Your body temperature can only go so high, and then, you literally burn up. So you want to control that fever at all costs and try and keep it down. Not 100 degrees. That's okay. You still want to watch it, but 102, 103, that's getting dangerously high, and that's not something you want to sit at home and see. Well, let's see if it breaks.
Right. Most people will, try to use your Tylenol and those types of over-the-counter medications. But if you are running a fever longer than a day, or so, depending on your age,
Right.
There's so many different variables. Our elderly population, it doesn't take long to get dehydrated. So would definitely want to encourage them to stay on top of it. And if it continues more than a couple of days, they would want to see their physician by all means.
Definitely. Now, again, you
Same
start
with the
talking.
child.
Yeah, same. Now we're setting somebody right back out there with the flu, going to
Yep.
see a physician. So we remind people, if you're at the physician, maybe something for other than the flu, be very cautious because people are sick coming in.
Absolutely.
So watch what you touch, and you want to be very, very cautious. But let's kind of get back to the family thing. I think people forget about that. I think they always think their family is immune. I've got my flu shot, and I guess my family has gotten their flu shots. We're all together at Christmas time, or maybe around the Thanksgiving dinner table, and everybody's having a good time. We're all patting each other on the back, having a good time, having long conversations. All of a sudden, about a week and a half later, everybody's starting to come down with the same thing. Somebody had it, brought it in. How long does it take if somebody actually has the flu or influenza? How long does it take actually before they can spread it?
Well, usually they're going to be the most contagious when they're running a fever.
Okay.
Some people don't run a high fever. Some can just run a low-grade fever. So sometimes the person who's spreading it doesn't necessarily know
That they have
at that moment that they're doing that. So
Okay.
again, hand washing is your number one way to battle it.
Tell people why hand washing is the way. I think people don't think, so I got it on my hand. Okay, I'll go wash my hands before that. But, you can go touch something, and the first thing a lot of people do, I got something in my eye, they rub their eye. Or their nose itches, they reach up and they rub their nose. Or, maybe they're eating and they're not really touching the food, but all of a sudden a little piece of spaghetti comes out of their mouth. First thing they do is reach up. You just got it, right?
You could very well, yes. To properly wash your hands, it takes about 20 seconds of vigorous friction with soap. That is going to be your best bet to get rid of any germs that you've contacted by touching objects.
Any surface. Yeah.
Often a lot of people just will go in and kind of rinse their hands, and that's not adequate enough. So vigorous rubbing your hands with soap, about 20 seconds. It's longer than you think it is.
Yeah, it's a long time.
When you're really standing there and timing it, it's longer than you think. But that is your number one way to battle
Right.
being ill.
And when you say wash your hands, and I know we're on radio, but that doesn't mean you just take your hands and slide them back and forth. That means between the fingers. Thoroughly in and out, kind of like a weave motion. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Each finger, each nail area, your palms, the back of your hands, your wrist. If you wear jewelry, you have to get around that jewelry. And then rinse and dry.
Now, sometimes, obviously, you just can't. Maybe you're out of the location, and most places now actually have a type of like a Germ-X or something that you can actually squirt on your hands and rub. That is very valuable in a lot of locations this time of year, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and that's an alternative. Hand washing is still the number one recommended way. But if you have access to the germicidal wipes or the gels, by all means, that is the second best.
You're seeing that at
barrier.
grocery stores now where they're actually offering the wipes before you ever take the cart. Smart idea.
Absolutely.
But, make sure you wipe down the entire whole cart side. And if you're not going to touch anything else, that's fine. But you know what? A lot of people end up putting their hands in the cart and touch
Absolutely.
the side of the cart.
Absolutely.
So you got to be careful. Or, you wipe your hands off with that wipe as well.
Right, because usually you're grabbing that cart to bring it into the store, so your hands have already touched it. So you want to, when you do wipe that cart, you want to wipe your hands as well.
Very good. So if you have the flu, what's the best way to get rid of the flu?
It's time, fluids, rest, all those home remedies.
Come on, no secret. Come on, Kathy. There got to be some kind of secret.
There's no secret to it. Usually, if you are diagnosed with influenza, your physician or health care provider, wherever you are, will also recommend possibly some Tamiflu. Those are an over-the-counter medication that will help make the symptoms less severe for you, but it's time more than anything.
So, and there are a lot of different over-the-counter products out there that keep boasting, we can, we help you take care of all those symptoms of the flu. I think what emergency, how it keeps you, if you feel that coming on, take this, and it's going to keep it.
Some people do use those
and some
types
it
of
can
things.
help, but I don't think anything can stop it from happening.
Nope.
Once the flu gets into your system, once that strain enters your body, you're going to have to bear it out, aren't you?
Yes, you are. Yep, you are correct.
And the best way to fight that initially is with a flu shot.
Absolutely, because it'll make your symptoms less severe.
Okay, so then even if you then use over-the-counter products to help that, it might make it even a little bit more comfortable. But again, beware of going anywhere, because if you do have the flu, you still have the flu shot or not, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You need to be
and
cautious.
you're just going to spread it. And unfortunately, as you know by the news, young children die, our elderly die. So you can die from the flu. So it is very important to take care of yourself and your families and wash your hands.
Okay, flu shots.
And flu shots.
Okay, let's talk about it. Flu shots. How can I get a flu shot? Where do I go?
Any doctor's office.
Okay.
If you see a primary physician, all those offices will offer them.
Okay.
Walmart, there's so many places now that you can
All
go.
the pharmacies,
All
basically.
pharmacies, you can
Okay.
walk in, get a flu shot.
Dent County Health Center.
Yep.
They have
yes,
them.
they have those too. So
Okay.
the flu vaccine is very available. They bill most Medicare, Medicaid. Most of your insurances will pay for those as well. So it's really convenient to get them.
So don't put it off. Some people say, "Well, I haven't had the flu, and it's already, it's already December." Okay, I don't think I'll get it now. Oh, last year.
Our flu season can run till April, May.
I was going to say
April,
last year,
May.
didn't we have two? I think here in the area, I think we had two. I think we had one in December, and I think it came back in February. Not as aggressive as it did in December. 'Cause I know after Christmas it was really bad here, and I think in February it kind of rose again because the flu doesn't go away. It just runs its course.
Absolutely.
But if it's still active or a different strain, or as we mentioned before, it mutates and comes back, you haven't had that one. You do
Right.
not have an
You can
immunity
have-
to it, do you?
You can get that strain later in the season. Absolutely.
You're really not making it fun.
No.
Well, Kathy, so the best thing to do at this time of year to try and ward off the flu is to get that flu shot.
Absolutely.
The next best thing is to keep your hands clean.
Wash your hands. That's
Very
correct.
good. So put those two together, and we should have a very healthy holiday season.
We should. Yes.
Very good.
And
Well,
Thanksgiving is coming pretty quick.
very
so
quick. I mean, it's like
It's a wonderful time of the year.
really quick, and then Christmas will be here before you know it. You blink, and there it is. You know, it is kind of an unfortunate time of year that so many things happen at this time of year that bring a lot of people together. You know, the Christmas holiday, New Year's holiday, and of course Thanksgiving and those things, or even the shopping seasons where people are out doing an immense amount of shopping prior to that, where that one person carrying the flu can infect hundreds, literally
Absolutely.
hundreds.
Absolutely. And the other thing I'd like to mention too about that is, as you know, at Salem we do have our long-term care unit, and if people are not feeling well, if children are not feeling well, have runny noses, coughs, don't visit. Keep those people at home so our elderly and our patients can get well and not be suffering through the flu season. A lot of people will take children to go visit at this time of the year,
Sure.
or go sing carols and those types of things, and it's so detrimental to our elderly.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing if everybody's healthy.
Absolutely.
You know, there's such a thing called FaceTime right now that does a really good job
it's
of
wonderful.
seeing somebody. Yeah, it's not the same as giving grandma or grandpa a hug, but if you're not feeling well, that's the last thing you want to do.
Very, very correct.
Yeah, very good.
It's very good.
Well, Kathy, we hope that you have a very, very good holiday season, and of course, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all the different days that are coming up. It's also a very busy time for the hospital this time, because there are a lot of different people that are coming through town, and we hope everybody stays happy and healthy and has a chance to enjoy the holiday season. But any last-minute reminders for people, maybe not to eat too much turkey?
No, I say eat all you can. Enjoy it while you can.
There you go. Well, enjoy your feast. And again, Kathy, thanks for coming in and spending time with us.
Thank you.
Open a checking account today and get a free gift, and refer your family and friends and receive another appreciation gift free from Progressive Ozark Bank. Just open a checking account today.